Hello, hello. With that introduction, I feel like I should have had some theme music too here. Welcome to Baltimore. We are excited to have you here. And one of the things that, Carter, I wanted to say thank you to you guys and the entire GBC team for creating a platform and for you guys for willing to invest in our city, being open to hearing all that we have to offer. One of the things that Carter didn't say in the introduction, and I think I just want to make sure that you all know it, is that I am from here, but from here in a way that we didn't know where our next meal was going to come from. And what you saw on this stage today is the authenticity of our city and us getting here. They're not actors. We're not actors. I even asked in the back, I'm like, are we using a teleprompter? Because it just felt so natural, but we know each other, we engage with each other, and I'm thankful for that. And now I get to represent the area that at the age of 14 I was cleaning, which is downtown Baltimore. As the president of Downtown Baltimore, Downtown Partnership, I lead a team who is responsible for an area that represents 29 million square feet of space. We represent, $6.9 billion of development, 134,000 employees, and more than 41,000 residents. The heart of it, the Central Business District. And so it's exciting to talk about not just that, but how that weaves into the mosaic and the fabric of our state at a time that we have a governor that is really pulling all of this together. So it's Baltimore City, it's Howard County, it's and it's us working together. So excited to hear from you both about what you're doing in these areas, how you're leading 21st century cities, promoting innovation, attracting investment, and as Corey talked about, equitable investment here. So County Executive Ball, we want to start with you in there because you've made tremendous advancements really looking at bringing investment in Howard County, large and small business alike. Tell us, how do these initiatives that you've created foster business development, particularly the incentives that support startups?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, and thank you all for being here today. I'm very excited. I'm also particularly excited to be here, not only with a fantastic moderator, but Mayor Brandon Scott, who's a magnificent mayor. I am so glad we have our new economic development CEO, Jennifer Jones, and she is a fantastic powerhouse. And our Economic Development Authority works together with businesses of all size, whether it's HOCO Hire, which is an initiative with businesses who are at conception and helps them through a 10-week program understand how do you manage your money, how do you go after capital, how do you take your business from that thought and idea to actually getting something that actually makes money. We have our Bright program helping our businesses where they actually get mentors, and there are business mentors helping them to grow. We have our micro loans, which are about 10 to 30,000, and then our catalyst loans, which are about 30 to 50,000. So we are investing in our businesses, and we're seeing the benefits through those businesses. Howard County has about 10,000 businesses, and we're continuing to grow, and we're seeing our businesses prosper. And I know that the ecosystem of Howard County is going to get even better as we work together.
That's it. Working together is the key. And I have a question about that. I'm going to go to you first, Mayor Scott, because I know last December, the Department of Commerce released data, and they talked about Baltimore City's economy being one of the fastest growing in the state of Maryland, 8th fastest growing GDP in the country. And so, understanding that you've put some things in place, what are some of those key strategies you have for attracting investment and promoting economic growth?
No, thank you. Thank you, Shelonda, and thank you, Mr. County Executive, for joining us. It's always great to see you. If you guys don't know, we have like a mayor and county executive basketball team. Calvin's the power forward. Johnny's the center. I'm the point guard. So that's, I have to distribute to everybody else. But thank you, as always, for your partnership and for being here. And I think, Shelonda, I will start here. I learned very early in my time in public office that, and I'll get to the slide in a second, that you handle the tough things first. And I think for us, coming into office in 2020, understanding what the world looked like at that time, but also understanding what Baltimore looked up like that time leading up to them. We had many issues that were outstanding in the city, none, of course, more prominent than dealing with violent crime, right? And we leaned all the way into dealing with that, creating Baltimore's first ever comprehensive violence prevention plan, reducing homicides by 20% last year, which is an all-time record reduction. And I'm going to knock on this piece of wood here, and we're beating that right now with a 34% reduction this year. Handling those issues, doing what we did around the Squeegee Collaborative, the things that folks had held Baltimore back for far too long, or something that we had to do to see that investment. But then public-private partnerships work. We've seen Baltimore shy away from that for far too long in our city. We have the prime example up on the screen right now. The first decision that I made, I know Colin's in here somewhere, in my parents' backyard in a 97-degree day after the election, was to renovate the CFG Bank Arena in partnership with Oak Food Group in this public-private partnership. It wasn't a very popular decision then, right? I remember, I hope you're not here. Well, actually, I hope you are here. There was a gentleman in the business community that told me I was putting lipstick on a rat. And I bumped into him at a sold-out Janet Jackson concert last year, and I said, "The rat looks pretty good tonight, doesn't she?" Right?
Yes,
and now
yes.
We can see what happens when we work together, having one of the highest grossing arenas in the country and ranked very high by artists and everyone alike. But it's also the other partnerships that we have, the investments into people and places, the things that we're doing with you at Downtown Partnership and Boost to increase Black-owned businesses in downtown, what we're doing with Downtown Rise, investing in our strength, in tech, the things that we have here to make sure that everyone knows that we're going to handle the tough issues, but we're also here to help businesses grow and thrive.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I think you guys brought me to collaboration is the key. We talk about it all the time, and I hope what you're starting to see is we're living it. We're working on it intentionally daily, and I think with Baltimore City and Howard County, what I'd love for you to do, because there's progress, there's ideas for you both to talk a little bit about how you see us working together, ways that we're doing it, and what people can expect to see.
You want me to go first? Yep. I think that we have now, with our county partners in Howard County and Anne Arundel and Baltimore, even in Frederick and even Harford County, an alignment of collaboration that we haven't seen at least in our lifetimes. And we collaborate in many ways. I think some of the most important, of course, are around public safety, where our folks are always working and talking with each other, sharing best practices, sharing resources when needed, but also things that we think that we as county leaders, right, because I'm considered one of those too, as county leaders that we have to advocate for together. None more important, I think, recently than transportation. For all of us getting together and saying that, one, we weren't going to just sit by and let our highway user revenue funds be raided again, right? But more importantly, how we've been working together to work towards getting us as a state to having a regional transportation system, so that those folks who live in Howard County and Baltimore County and Baltimore City and Anne Arundel, we can have a 21st century system that is built like systems around the country, where there's accountability across all levels of government, so that we can be able to have people go where if it's inexplainable that someone who lives in Columbia, if they want to come to see the Orioles, essentially the only way they can get there is by car. We have to build that system, and the collaboration that we've all done to start that work, I think, is going to pay dividends for those who are coming behind all of us in the future.
That's right. I mean, I'm just so glad to work with the mayor and our other partners. A successful Baltimore City is a successful Maryland. And a successful Maryland helps every other jurisdiction. And one of the byproducts that actually came from the pandemic is that we continued to communicate and collaborate more closely, like the mayor said, than ever before. And we continue that. I'll be at the game tonight cheering on our Orioles from Columbia down here. So yeah, let's go O's.
Yes, woo-woo, let's go O's.
And being able to, as the mayor said, work on a regional transportation system, work on things like our tech hub. We actually collaborated going after the federal dollars, as some would say sometimes, punching above our weight, And now we're going after every other jurisdiction in the nation as a collaborative partnership. And frankly, I think we can do it. We can be even more successful together than we could separately. And so I'm very glad that we work together, we work collaboratively, and we together are helping to move not only our own jurisdictions, but Maryland forward.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I have one question. I'm going to pull out some key initiatives that you guys are both working on. And in the spirit of collaboration, I want you to know that somebody in the back said that our color palettes must have been the ideal symbol of that. But I'm going to come to you first and ask about the Gateway Master Plan vision. And then, Mayor Scott, I want to come to you with Downtown Rise as we kind of close that out. But please, I know this past March, you established the Gateway Plan Advisory Committee through an executive order to do that. Can you elaborate on what's behind that and hopes for what's to come?
Well, we just recently passed our county master plan, Hochul by Design, and that led to a Gateway master plan. Gateway in Howard County is about 1,000 acres, and it hosts the Maryland Innovation Center, the Kenneth S. Ullman Maryland Innovation Center. You know, I think Ken sends me like a penny every time I say his name. And that 1,000 acres will be a place where we'll have innovation, where we'll have those who are involved in the higher ed sector. We have right now about 500 businesses throughout. We're going to grow that, and it is going to be so much good synergy. We're going to embrace the future, and I'm very excited about it. It is almost like imagine, many of you have heard about Columbia as the planned city that launched in the 60s. Imagine being there 2 or 3 years before Columbia started. That's what it feels like with this Gateway Master Plan. And we even have friends from GBC who are part of this conversation.
No, absolutely. Good stuff there. Mayor Scott, do want to get in a little bit about Downtown Rise. I know you announced it, the initiative. I was going to give you the kudos. But we announced that initiative, and what we talked about, and building on what you said about Governor Moore, he talked about this being Maryland's decade. He talked about it being Baltimore's time. And then we added to that it being downtown's moment. And you doubled down on that with Downtown Rise. So can you elaborate a little bit on what that is?
Yeah, I think that we have to understand that, and we talked about this a lot, Shelonda, that downtowns around the country and the world post the pandemic have to reinvent themselves, right? It's time to look at them in a different way. And now we're talking about having downtown rise again. We understand, and you have to know the facts. Downtown is our fastest growing residential neighborhood. 35% of the jobs in the city exist in downtown Baltimore. A high percentage of taxes and most of the parking comes from downtown Baltimore. And now through Downtown Rise and our strategic plan, what we are going to be doing is showing how we're going to grow our downtown for the next version of itself, right? Making sure that we're handling the things that allow for more people to live downtown, right? Not just building the buildings, but the infrastructure that you would expect in any other neighborhood that you would want to live in. How we're going to work from strength to attracting more businesses and keeping them here, being understanding that equity is the law of the land and going to be a focus as long as there's breath in my body, and making sure that that's represented. How we are making to create jobs and places and spaces for those residents, especially as you heard from time and time again, who have been ignored, or when Shelonda and I were growing up in Baltimore, pushed away from downtown. How do we bring them in? How do we help them get ownership, a part of their downtown? Because downtown belongs to all of us, and if downtown is rising, the entire city of Baltimore is going to rise. And that's what downtown is about, and we're going to see that work that's already started now, just a ramp up. Everything from basic things, from signs and lights and streets and things that have been ignored. And yes, we're going to be reconfiguring traffic so that it is for downtown, for you to walk, for you to live, for you to breathe and feel like you're in a place that wants you to be there, not just some place that you come in 9 to 5 and get out quickly on a street that's built like a highway.
Well, I hope you feel what we're feeling and showing. Thank you, Mayor Scott. Thank you, County Executive Ball. Thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to your investment in Baltimore, in the region.
We left y'all 23 seconds. Look at that.
On time and under budget.